Welcome back everyone. I hope you're ready for a good hike along Route 45 because we'll be battling plenty of trainers. We're going to start off battling Hiker Parry, whose number you need if you want to find Meryl. We also have some Pokemon to run across. Raikou is not actually one of them, but that's a good find. As is pretty much tradition, I'm just going to lob an Ultra Ball and hope. I don't think I'll catch it. No surprise, it's been an interesting time, to be honest. I've been trying to discuss how I felt about various leaks I've heard discussed, in connection to the new Pokemon games of course, and I haven't been able to phrase my thoughts very well because it's very difficult to avoid spoilers on the internet, especially since life revolves pretty much around the internet in a lot of cases. I will admit that if people do want to search out all the information, that's fine, it's just that it's not my thing personally. Oddly enough, the reason I'm bringing it up is tied into leaks, L-E-E-K-S, because one of them involved a Galarian form and evolution of Farfetch'd apparently. I don't know if it's true or not, I'll be happy to find out when Nintendo actually announces what the case is. And I'm using Farfetch'd to fly. Sunny has unfortunately left the team, since I don't know if she's going to be able to stay in her evolved form. Given all the trouble I had trading my Pokemon to evolve, I don't think I'll be able to trade her back, evolve her, and then bring her back to Gold version, because I've been using Red version on the dual Game Boy setup this has. I'm still very annoyed that it doesn't save. And the game has been mocking me for it. I had an uninterrupted stream of 8 Graveler encounters on this route. Most of them were female. It's like saying, hey, you should really be using Ruby, except I'm going to screw you out of using Ruby as much as you want to. So yeah, I've screwed up recordings, I haven't been able to phrase my thoughts properly, and I'm getting a little irritated with myself right now. You know what, since we've met Hiker Parry, we can now focus the spotlight on the Pokemon to which he will introduce us. Let's have a quick look at Meryl. Meryl was one of the first Johto Pokemon revealed, appearing in the short Pikachu's Vacation a bit before Gold and Silver were released. Its mouse-like appearance led people to speculate that it was connected to Pikachu in some way, which explains the whole Pika-Blue thing that surrounded it. Overall, Meryl isn't fantastic in these generations. It has fairly decent defences and great HP when it evolves into Azumarill, but it's not very strong and it can't use a lot of moves to great potential. It's only when abilities were introduced that Meryl really started to shine. If it had the huge power ability, its attack stat doubled, so a well-trained Azumarill could really hit hard and catch opponents by surprise. It gained the ability to learn Aqua Jet via breeding, which helped it out even more, and gaining the Water Fairy type in Generation 6 was a serious boost to it. As it stands though, Meryl is kind of a junk rare in this generation. It's a decent enough Pokemon, but it's not going to be anything spectacular, especially since you'll have a hard time finding it until you talk to Hiker Parry. There are honestly much better Water-type Pokemon for now, but in later games, Meryl and Azumarill are worth it. It's also worth noting that while Meryl has a 1-to-1 gender ratio, Azumarill's is 3 females to 1 male, so prior to Generation 6, depending on the personality value, a female Azurill could actually become a male Meryl when it evolved. And with that, let's take it down. Using Body Slam. Takedown's not a very useful move at all. I mean, it hits alright, but the problem is 85 accuracy. That's tantamount to a death sentence. It's going to screw you up. Battles have been won or lost on moves that have 95 accuracy, I'd wager. Anything that's not a certain hit in terms of base accuracy generally gets frowned upon unless you can circumvent that. For example, Ice Beam is going to be the most commonly used Ice-type move because it's widely available, but if you're using a Hail team, you can exploit Blizzard. If you're using Rain Dance, You can exploit Thunder. Fire Blast doesn't have anything that raises its accuracy, but in exchange it actually has better accuracy than most of those moves. I think Hydro Pumps is pretty decent as well. But speaking of ice moves, we are going to be getting Ice Beam with Mersey pretty soon, level 36 to be exact, so I'm going to be grinding her for that. After all, I will need that for the upcoming battle. Most of the Pokemon in Claire's gym are either Dratini line or Horsey line, so I can switch between Mersey and Polari as needed. Kingdra's going to be a tough cookie, however Mersey should be able to handle things pretty well. Let's just head down this way, and we can grab another item. I really do apologise for things being a little bit incoherent. I'm prone to tripping over my words, I'll admit that, and I get a little flustered when I screw things up, and that causes me to make more mistakes, really. I essentially just have to take time to think. And we're battling yet another hiker. I still have to fight that one on Route 46 with 5 Geodudes. I'm going to skip that. I will get it done, but it will be off screen. You won't have to put up with that. Now, that Diglett's at a pretty good level, but it's the sort of opposition we should have been facing around the Lake of Rage. At least in terms of level, anyway. And the Pokemon really should be fully evolved. I've said my mandatory level curve is too low piece for this episode, so let's just focus on taking them down. Decent magnitude. And away we go with Surf. I think I need a happier topic to talk about, because it's kind of difficult discussing the concept of leaks without coming across like a bit of a jerk. I couldn't find the right way to phrase it. Anyway, we've made it back towards Route 46 and we can grab a Mystery Berry. That'll keep us in good stead. Is that the one that recovers all status conditions? Let me see. I'll probably have to deposit some items at some point. No, that's the PP one. Miracle Berry is the status conditions. I've got to remember that. So we're back on Route 46, and there is the entrance to Dark Cave. We came out of there after the fiasco with Golbat in episode 17. I'm going to battle that trainer who is just down here, but I'll do that off screen. I'll see you back at Blackthorn City. And here we are back at the top of Route 45 and ready to head down a different path. Quite a good selection of trainers along the way, but they're still not high level enough to prepare you for Claire. You're probably going to have to level grind a lot. And it's particularly frustrating if I'm going to be honest. It's not necessarily that Claire is really dangerous. The low level curve makes it hard to train. Kingdra is a tough opponent, but a bulky Pokemon, especially on the special side, which sounds a bit awkward, you're mostly going to want a bulky special Pokemon to deal with Kingdra. It's good if they're like Lapras and can pretty much take water moves with ease. Kingdra is very well balanced. It doesn't really stand out at anything, which is its big weakness. It's very versatile, but it's at its best later on when rain teams can give it a massive boost to its speed. You'll see all about its stats in the next episode, I think, because we will be heading to the Blackthorn City gym. And taken down. It's not necessarily a good time for the Geodude line late game. They need some good Pokemon to help cover their weaknesses. It's a very good attacking combo Rock Ground, but it does have a fair few flaws on the defensive side. So we need to head down here. And we'll be back to where we were earlier. And we'll grab a max potion. We can head down this way and battle a black belt. Shouldn't be too long before we get Mersey leveled up. Machoke, decent Pokemon, and I should be able to take it down with Surf pretty easily. Actually, no, I managed to KO it in one shot in the failed attempt. I really should know better. I still haven't learned not to tempt fate. That's going to be pretty much a running issue throughout this. So there we are, he's beaten, and we can head down this way, and we can battle a train or run into a wild Pokemon. They're still following me. So ideally, we would run into Gligar or Teddiursa, but we haven't. Instead, we're just going to have to put up with this guy. He also has Geodude, Graveler and Golem, as I was trying to say. This one will be a fairly easy battle. Admittedly, the only Pokemon I have really equipped to deal with rock and ground types is Mersey. She can handle ground types the best. Gibson can deal with them as well, but he's hitting their higher defense. So Graveler should get us to level 36. One Surf, and it'll be down. I do still feel bad that things went wrong, and I'm a bit frustrated that I couldn't use Alakazam and Golem because the game just didn't want to save. I nearly lost a lot of important data. I nearly got set back a couple of gyms. So there we are. That will actually work pretty well for us. Mersey should be tanky enough with that high HP. And with Ice Beam on our side, we'll be able to do a lot of damage to Claire's Dragon types. Speed is an issue though. And she's still the best choice to take down Golem. Maybe I'll have to do a randomizer run of one of these sometime. That'd be pretty fun, to be honest. And there we are. I'm going to switch Polari to the front of the party. I think we've battled all the trainers on this particular section. Let's just have a quick look around. Alternatively, we can run into a wild. We've run into Gligar. That's something. I probably should have put the spotlight on Gligar instead of Meryl, but it's okay. Gligar's moves aren't that great. It got much better when it gained the evolution in Gliscor. It's kind of unremarkable. You can also find Teddiursa on this route, as I've mentioned, and in Silver you can find Phanpy and Skarmory. Interesting note, in the Japanese versions, Phanpy appeared in Gold and Teddiursa in Silver. I think that switched around for Heart Gold and Soul Silver to keep them in line with the Japanese versions. Also, a lot of people actually thought Skarmory was a Hoenn Pokemon, along with Slugma interestingly enough, because you found the two of them more commonly in that region. Skarmory could be pretty hard to find in Silver, and Slugma just turns up in the late game. Okay. Lacking a good sleep move, I can't really do much apart from throw and hope. Thankfully, I don't have to hope for long, we have it! Gligar, the Fly Scorpio Pokemon. It flies straight at its target's face, then clamps down on the startled victim to inject poison. So we've wrapped that up nicely. Hopefully I will find Teddiursa. I'll look for that later. But let's take a quick jump back to Blackthorn City. Very convenient having Fly. In my failed recording, Ralph called us up around this time, which he's not going to do now. So we have one more section to head down. And I believe our final opponent. The cool trainer here leads off with Pidgeot. Pretty impressive to get a Pidgeot at level 25. I've always wondered exactly how the AI winds up with this, but it's also another good indicator of the crummy level curve. It's like, hey, this should really be much higher level. And I'm gonna have to get a better electric move for Polari. Generation 3, Magneton really comes into its own with some better moves available to it, and in Generation 4, getting Flash Cannon is just icing on the cake. Gibson's going to take care of Electabuzz. We're definitely going to see this one in the spotlight later on. Handy move, Light Screen. It doesn't actually raise special defense so much as it halves the damage taken from special moves. And it's also worth noting, in that situation in Red and Blue, Swift would hit. It originally bypassed accuracy checks in general. This included the semi-invulnerable turns of Fly and Dig. Fairly impressive homing stars, if I'm going to be honest. Well, tell you what, while I'm in this patch of grass, as I get interrupted by a zillion Gravelers, we can look for Teddiursa. I'll cut to when I find it. Okay. Much, much better. Let's keep looking, but we can actually go and catch Quillfish now. At last, here we go. Let's wrap this one up, then we can go and catch Quillfish. Now, Teddiursa does have a chance to flee. Fantastic. Alright, we've found another one. Oh, come on! Alright, third time's the charm. Let's just throw and hope, because the little sod's probably going to run away anyway. What is this thing? Is it like Raikou or something? Alright, Teddiursa. Let's make this easy. I'm going to throw this... Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. Right, I'm going to throw this, and you're going to stay in there, and you're not going to run away if you break out. Little bastard. Right, well, I'm quickly going to go and catch Quillfish. Then I'll catch Teddiursa. Alright, here we are on Route 32, and let's hope we have some better luck. I think I should lead with Mersey and use Icy Wind on them. Whoops. That should probably tell you how well things are going. Let's actually register that to the select button. And now let's try. What's it gonna be? It is our target. Oh wait, that's right. I'm not very intelligent today. And of course it's a critical hit. This is why I love having false swipe, and this is why I love having dusk balls as well. At least Ice Beam's animation looks pretty neat. Alright, Mersey's too strong. At least we're finding it fairly easily. And Sonic Boom does set damage, so that is a big help. Probably can't risk another shot with it, should probably use Tackle. There we are. And there we are, we have added a wholly unremarkable water Pokemon to our collection. Quillfish, the balloon Pokemon. To fire its poison spikes, it must inflate its body by drinking over 2.6 gallons of water all at once. So there we are. Now to wrap up the episode, I'm going to cut to the moment when I finally catch that blasted Teddiursa. Alright, come on, this time. Gotcha, you little sod! There was one attempt that once again failed. I will have to put on the screen what its chance of running actually is. Teddiursa, the little bear Pokemon. If it finds honey, its crescent mark glows. It always licks its paws because they are soaked with honey. What a fiasco. Just a complete fiasco. Screwed up all my attempts to try and record commentary, couldn't get anything coherent, and then a complete nightmare trying to find that blasted Teddiursa. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of level grinding on my team, to be honest. I'll put them about level 38, so the next time you see me, we'll be ready to take on the Blackthorn City Gym. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm sorry you had to sit through all that, and I will see you in the next installment of our scenic tour through the Johto region.